This is Yvette Carnell with Your Black World, reporting on the recent shooting, the recent massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And I just wanted to take a little time to have the conversation with someone that we don't normally hear from in terms of anyone in Your Black World or in the black community in general, which is basically black conservatives in terms of having a discussion about guns and the Second Amendment and kind of just trying to figure out where we go forward in terms of, you know, are conservatives opposed to gun laws? Are they opposed to legislation, or is this a mental health issue thing? I'm just right now trying to get a conservative point of view. So I wanted to ask my friend Talitha McCann in terms of what she thinks. She's a blogger in her own right, a Can TV writer, and I wanted to get her perspective. So Talitha, just give me a little bit of your. Just give me a few general thoughts. What do you think? Like, what went through your mind when you saw this?
Well, Yvette, you know, when I heard it, I was at work when it happened. I got off work and I found out what happened. It's just sad. I mean, I was just like another, you know, school shooting in an affluent suburban neighborhood, and this time elementary school. And of course, the details and everything were kind of shaky at first. So I kind of waited a little bit and read some of the information, and I was just really stunned by it. And honestly, I you know, my heart went out to the families. And then I just thought, okay, here we go. Here's the debate on gun control is going to be reignited again.
What do you think? Because I'm guilty of this. I got to tell you, I'm guilty of this. Like, when this first happened, I was the first one. Like, I didn't even wait an hour, I don't think, before discussing gun control and what should happen. So I can't, you know, in terms of, you know, giving it time to breathe, I didn't do any of that. So I'm the first one to say I'm guilty of that. But what I'm asking in terms of conservatives, I heard a lot of conservatives say this is not a time to kind of go after the Second Amendment. You know, just in terms of where you're coming from, what is it time for? What are conservatives? What do conservatives think we should be doing right now?
Well, I probably think slightly different from some conservatives, but a lot of conservatives are now upset because they think that President Obama, is going to take away our guns, and he's going to use this situation. You know, of course, the other movie theater shooting that happened in Colorado. They think that he's going to use this shooting to try to take away guns from ordinary citizens. I hear a lot of that talk of the situation being used for an agenda, which is to take away guns from ordinary citizens and usurp the Second Amendment. That's a lot of what I hear on the right.
But for real, what do you think? What do you think, for real? Just between me and you, just talking, you know, just talking woman to woman, girlfriend to girlfriend. What do you think? I know, just not. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of exaggeration going on. I think sort of from all fronts. I do think you're going to have some liberals who are going to jump to, well, we need to take away guns, we need to do this, we need to do that, you know, in terms of guns. But I believe in the Second Amendment. I think we all have the right to be armed responsibly. I agree with, I heard a person say that, you know, they didn't think that ordinary citizens should have these military-grade weapons. We should have guns, but not all this extra stuff. But this always comes up, and we have no idea if this man who shot these 20 children and 6 adults, we have no idea, first of all, as far as I know, that he was not licensed or that he shouldn't have had a gun. Well, we know he shouldn't have. It was his parents' gun, from my understanding. And my question is, well, even if he legally had the right to have a gun and everything was legit in terms of, and then this happens, then what? It just seems to me that there's always this rush to say that, oh, here's another person who shouldn't have had a gun or who didn't have a license or who didn't this and didn't that. And I don't know if all of the I's are dotted and the T's crossed, in as far as that is concerned, then what? You know, I don't.
You know, and you know what? I think you said. You know what? That's the question, though. The question is, then what? What do we do if the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed? The person has the gun legally. Blah 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 blah. what do we do? Like, I don't know the answer to that. Like, I would say that there is something probably wrong with it. There is certainly something wrong with American culture, but I don't know. I hear a lot of conservatives say, well, you pray. But the thing about it is, and I know people are going to take issue with it.
I agree, you do.
And that's fine, but I take issue with that only because we pray after every massacre, and then there's another massacre, and I'm just gonna put it out there, and people are gonna, like I said, people are gonna take issue with this. But I remember Jesus praying on the cross, and I don't remember anybody taking him down from that cross. I don't think prayer necessarily upends violence.
Oh boy, here you go. Here you go. Oh boy.
I'm just asking for a real.
That's called gas on the fire, Yvette.
just it out there.
Well, his will was done. We're not gonna get into a theological discussion, but I understand what you're saying.
I just want a real approach. I just want, what do we do? Like, if somebody tells me pray again, I'm gonna have a problem. If I know people are gonna say, well, it's so anti-religious, whatever. No. I just. The
guns aren't the problem, though. In my view, the guns aren't the problem. For me, as a Christian, I think it is a spiritual problem. That's one aspect of it. And guns getting, people who shouldn't have them, being able to have access to them, because those were his parents' guns, from my understanding, his mother's gun. They weren't even his, so. He had access to him, so he did this. Now, whether or not, it's not like he went and bought some illegal gun off the street. This was a registered legal gun that his mother had, and apparently he had access to. And obviously something was wrong with him, early reports that came in.
But isn't it ironic that his mother bought all these guns? Apparently, I read that she was like one of these doomsday preppers and she thought economic collapse was coming.
I've heard that too.
So isn't it ironic that she bought all these guns to protect herself from, what was to come and ended up being blown away by her own kids?
Right, exactly. It's very ironic, and I don't know. It's just, they say you by the sword, you die by the sword. Because I've never had, until recently, I've never had guns, in my home growing up. My parents didn't have guns or anything like that, and nothing ever happened. I'm not saying it couldn't.
Okay, this just goes to prove that stereotypes about liberals and conservatives are wrong. Because Talisa didn't have a gun growing up.
No,
conservative.
Never.
My parents had a gun all my life. So that just goes to show what you believe about liberals and conservatives is wrong.
And I grew up in Atlanta, we never had guns ever. I owned my first gun as an adult and living away from home. So no, we never had guns.
So what should we do? Like, is there anything that we can do? Like, are there any like steps that we can take? You think
it's something in American culture. If you look at Canada, Canada has more guns per capita than America by far. They don't have anywhere near the amount of violence that we do, and the same is true for a lot of other countries. So I think that what we should do is start at the goal, which is, of course, less gun violence, and look at these models and say, well, what are they doing, or what was taking place in their culture to have such little violence? Because it's not the guns. Canadians have guns for days, and that's not even the only country. So we have to look at that in America and see how do we get there. I think, as you know already, and I think I've read things on Your Black World about this, young black men are dying. Dying. I think I read something the other day. It said like every 5 hours a young black man is killed by gun violence.
And nobody cares.
And here's Obama, and I'm not saying he shouldn't have spoken out on this tragedy. As the commander-in-chief, he should have. But it's like, where is he and all of these leaders when it comes to the everyday constant violence that's killing off black men like this? It's amazing to me that you don't hear that from these leaders. And you don't hear it unless it's a Trayvon Martin situation, unless it's the perpetrator, shooter is white.
You know what? I would agree with you about that. I would agree with you on that point. But I would also ask, where are white people, especially, where are white people when black people kill each other? Like, they always ask black people, what have you done with your black people? But where are white people? These black kids who are being killed are just as American as anybody else. So why isn't there outside on both sides?
Where's the vigil? Where's the vigil for Chicago? Where's the news media?
Exactly.
Where's I'm going to do everything within my power from President Obama to stop this kind of stuff? It's just for him. It takes these white children being shot and killed in order for that dialogue to take place, but nobody says that because a lot of people see these black youth as just some thugs, and a lot of the people killed in Chicago were not so. They were just innocent bystanders. So it's not even true. But that dialogue is missing, when it comes to black lives. They are just not as valued as white lives in this country. And conservatives can get upset about that or whatever all they want, but it's just true. There's something in white culture, and every time these shootings happen, I think except for Virginia Tech, and I'm talking about actual shootings, not ones that were prevented, because that guy was like Asian or something. I mean, why are these white children, these affluent suburban white children going around, or this guy was 20, young adults, going around shooting these mass shootings like that? What is the problem? We have to. I think, and I'm just going to put it out there. I think we have to address white anger. A lot in this country has been said about the black anger that black people hold as a result of slavery, and that we need to get over it. Right.
Well, we have to figure out where this white anger is coming from. You are a young white man in America. What do you have to be upset about?
You're not only a young white man in America. Not only a young white man in America. It comes from affluent neighborhoods. When their parents have a lot of money, you go to good schools, you have everything that you need to succeed. And I'm not saying, of course, that all black people are poor, that we don't have all that. That's not true, because I live in Atlanta. Atlanta's full of middle and upper class blacks. But it's like, what, if anything, I would expect this to be coming from the trailer parks, and it's not, in other words. It's like, what is the problem?
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think I'm gonna end it on that moment of agreement, but I think we're gonna have to have this conversation again about this anger and what's bubbling over and exactly what is going on. Like I read something at Salon.com today, which was basically asking whether or not we need to profile white men. So we definitely have to have a further conversation about this. But right now, I'm gonna let you go. I want to thank you for having this conversation with me, and
thank you for having me
right now. Your Black Work.